Dakota Pine, and I am here to talk about human trafficking in Michigan. The purpose of this presentation is to educate the audience, which are college students at SVSU, about the seriousness of trafficking. Some history on human trafficking in Michigan. In 2006, Governor Jennifer Granholm signed House Bill 5747, which specifically outlawed human trafficking in Michigan. And then in 2011, an additional statute was enacted, which set grounds for further prosecution in human trafficking cases. Today, Michigan is currently ranked number 2 in the United States for human trafficking, which is right behind the state of Nevada. Some types of trafficking that are in Michigan today are domestic servitude, which are employees working in private homes forced into serving. And then there's sex trafficking, which are women, men, or children that are forced into the commercial sex industry and held against their will by force. Forced labor is human beings forced to work under the threat of violence or for no pay. And then there's child labor, which involves any enslavement of children. Forced marriage, which is mainly women and sometimes children who are forced to marry another without their consent. Along with the laws making human trafficking illegal, they also created a standing human trafficking commission with the Department of Attorney General and a health advisory board within the Department of Community Health. And also, along with laws against human trafficking, there are many organizations out there that are fighting victims and finding ways to prevent human trafficking from happening, such as the Guardian Group. This group works to help ordinary people recognize human trafficking activity and take appropriate action. This organization also provides training to hotel and hospitality workers to help them recognize the signs of traffickers and provide recommendations on how to respond to those people. Another organization is the Michigan Human Trafficking Task Force. This task force was actually founded by Jane White, who is a director of the School of Criminal Justice of Michigan State University. And this task force exists to facilitate a collaborative effort to prevent trafficking of people within the state of Michigan and to pursue prosecution of the perpetrators and to protect and rehabilitate the victims of human trafficking. And not only that, but it provides awareness through speaking engagements and specifically training to professional groups, statewide conferences, initiates regional task force, supports prosecutions for both at state level and federal cases, and it identifies resources for victims and survivors of both labor and sexual trafficking. Now that we know how big of an issue human trafficking is in Michigan, we need to implement ways to teach people the premature signs of human trafficking. If we do not, trafficking in Michigan will always be a threat to young men, women, and children for years to come. And in the future, I would hope to see more organizations start to develop in schools so that way kids are learning about the seriousness of human trafficking and they're learning from it at a young age so they are already educated from it. Thank you for listening.